Hello everybody, my name is DM, and in this video I thought I'd go back to do another homebrew tutorial on D&D Beyond. This time doing a homebrew spell. I was having a look around at what spells I can create in D&D Beyond for a good showcase, not just a spell I want to add to my game. And then I found a spell on Elden Ring called Law of Causality, and Law of Causality is a spell if a creature hits you a number of times. You then a retaliatory energy and a radiant energy will burst out and are damaging that character. I thought that's quite a cool spell, but I'm gonna use that and adjust it ever so slightly to have it to kind of only hit the one that's attacking them. So let's just go in here. So I would always say the best thing to do in this sort of situation, if you're creating a spell, is just to use another spell as a baseline. That way you've already got the modifiers set in, it's just about adjusting the details and adjusting little bits and pieces. However, for the purpose of this video, I will show you how to do it from scratch. Alrighty, so I'm going to call this, because it's very similar to kind of Spirit Guardians, I'm just going to call it Spirit Counter. And there's a reason it's very similar. So version 1. Third level cantrip, it's Conjuration, cast sometime 1, action, click all them, and the material will just be a holy symbol. Simple. Like that. So spell range type, I want to put it as touch, because that means as the cleric, if you have this spell, you can then touch the tanks, like the fighters and everyone who's going to be front line, and that way they have a little bit of a buff, so they're doing extra damage when they're getting damage themselves. I will have this be a timed thing, so time for 1 minute. Alrighty. So I'll put this here. Alright, so I do want this to be more damage at higher levels, so I'll just pop it at higher levels and try to make it look as similar to it should look on D&D Beyond. And you cast this spell using a spell slot of 4th level or higher. The it's a H higher. The damage increases by 1d8 each slot above 3rd. Like that. Alright, so then it's important here to make sure it does go up and it does increase like we want it to. We would just go on to at higher level scaling, and then we want to do spell scale. I used to do it at spell level, and used to wonder why the spell wasn't increasing and whatever way, and it's just if you do it at spell level, it will try and do it at certain points, and it's really important how you set it up later. But for this purpose, it's spell scale. Now, I want this to be obviously available to all clerics. I also think it would be good to a war domain cleric. And also, I want a certain paladin to have this. And I think this kind of works for an Oath of Vengeance paladin. Kind of, if you hit me, I'm still going to hit you back. Sort of retaliatory thing. Alright, so now what we're going to do is an additional information, because if we don't do any of this, it will just do the damage. Which is fine, but it's free damage every time. So you would either do this as a save type, so they've got you as the DM have to roll against the spell, or you can do it as an attack type, so the player has to roll the dice to see if they hit. Because for me, it's more of a physical thing and it is trying to hit, I would say it's an attack type. So I'll put attack type as melee and leave all that. Spell effect tags, so I'm going to put damage. It's kind of a buff as well, because it's giving them a little bit extra, and we'll save changes. Alrighty, so now we go on to the fun bit, which is the modifiers. So what we do here, so we'll do the first one, so damage, radiant, and then dice count, so it's 2d8. Now we want to put in details, good or evil. Nope, good or neutral, rather. Good or neutral, aligned. And that way, it will appear when they select the spell in terms of the restrictions and what damage type they do based on the player's choice of alignment. There is no way, for the moment, to have it filter out so they either only see radiant if they're good or neutral, or necrotic if they are evil. Just because, although you can set lawful good, chaotic evil in the character sheet, it doesn't filter the spells. But maybe that'll come eventually. I don't know. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. Right, so now we'll do the same thing. We'll add a necrotic one. So damage necrotic to the 8, and we'll do evil aligned. So, alrighty. So now just to make sure it scales properly in the sheets, we then do the bit here which is at higher levels, and then we do add higher level. Now, because we want it to scale with every slot above third, it'd be a scaling level value of 1. If you're ever stuck, you can just do that question mark there, and it will tell you what it means. So if you wanted this to be, oh, I want this to be higher at 11th, like character level, you would put the character level, and you'd also, if you'd then do it at spell level as well, but it's all about how you adjust this. But because we're doing it as it's adjusting every spell slot above third, this is how we would do it. So we do modifier to scale. So this would just be the modifier. So radiant. Scale effect, it'd be additional point because we're adding a damage die. 1d8. Because all these mean, so additional count. So like additional creatures, so it can attack one more creature. Additional points is an extra damage die. Extended area, so if it's a 30-foot sphere, it could go to a 40-foot sphere, essentially. Some of these I have never used personally, but kind of the main ones to use are additional points, additional area, so on and so forth. Alright, so additional points, that's all we do, 1d8, and then we'll do the same for Necrotic. So 1, damage, scale effect, additional points, 1d8. And that's pretty much it. Now you could leave it at that and go, okay, that's cool, that's done. What I like to do is to pop it on one of my characters just to make sure it looks alright and it appears correctly. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to my characters. I have a 12 level cleric, so I'm going to put it on them because they're a good example. Set spells, manage spells. If you go down there, there is already one there, Spirit Counter. That's because created the spell twice now because I recorded the first video without actually having my mic in. But that's fine. So now if we go down here, third level, spirit counter, touch, 1d8, 2d8 radiant damage. If we click on it, we'll see, yeah, 2d8 damage, good or neutral. And then if we scroll down, spirit counter, 3d8, and then spirit counter, 4d8. And that's nice and simple. It's so easy to do. It's just about making it look correct on the sheet. But once that's done, it's nice and simple. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope people like my tutorials, and please subscribe and like if you would like me to do some more. And I hope everyone has a good day. Bye.